guess this angle is better, so. And now I shall finish what I started.
Enemy rule. Contingent liability. It is either a possible obligation or present obligation. A possible obligation that rises from past events. It is yet to be confirmed whether the entity has a present obligation that could lead to an outflow of resources, or it may be a present obligation that fails to meet the other two recognition criteria for provision recognition. That is, it is not probable that an outflow of resources will occur, or reliable estimate of amount cannot be made. A contingent liability is disclosed. A joint liability is disclosed as a contingent liability to the extent met by the other party, and a provision for them. Part of obligation for which outflow is probable. Contingent tacit. Part of obligation for which outflow is probable. That's rising. From past event. As its existence is yet to be confirmed. Can rise to the possibility of an inflow of economic benefits. An entity shall not recognize a contingent asset, since this may result in recognition of income that might never be realized. However, when the realization is virtually certain, then its recognition is appropriate. If an inflow is probable, say 50%, an entity discloses contingent asset. Thanks for watching. Hi, maybe you have heard the term creative accounting. Involved in so-called big bad rules written in its feet simplified price of free in its current measure plus the disclosures required for these items. So what is a provision? It is a liability of uncertain timing and amount. Now, let's concentrate on the first part of the definition. What is the liability? A liability is a present obligation of an entity arising from past events, the settlement of which is expected to result in an outflow of economic benefits of an entity. The critical point here is occurrence of past event.
It's my one. So I guess it is done.
Or obligate even ask that record some entities or some created. However, if following legal obligate to pay means that the contingent number 3 that is required to settle the obligation.
No.
In extremely rare cases, when no reliable estimate can be made,
Present.
liability exists, but it cannot be recognized.
Recognize, right? Present obligation, probable outflow, and reliable estimate.
So when deciding on record, then the provision fish think. In order to do nothing, IS 37 or com, you find you should ask your situation when you're questioning whether to book a provision or not. Then do not recognize any provision because it means that there is no past obligate and your company must trade to you. You might some product to your customer.
Ah.
Then you must make a provision.
So I guess this is done. And so is.
Okay lang.
I can't do this anymore. I quit.
Ha? Anong ibig mo sabihin? 5 taon na tayo magkakasama, oh.
Yeah, pero never ko naman naramdaman na really part of the group. Different from you guys.
Ha?
Yomete.
Aya? We understand.
Nani? What is this commercial? Damn. Lol. Maybe I should stop speaking English or just speak my mother tongue or lingua. Nah. Now I'm getting sidetracked. I'm at Facebook. I'm done with the first one, then let's proceed with the second one.
For explaining on bias control. Alters are not wholly or fully obligated for you effects, indication of uncertainties, and some possibility of any reimbursement. Indicate extended industries and robots legend for expected costs associated with warranty repairs. Liabilities and contingent assets. Well, a contingent liability is either possible obligation that arises from past events and its existing or present obligation. See you now. Company may face both contingent liabilities and contingent assets.
Well, a contingent liability is either possible obligation that arises from past events and its existence will be confirmed by some uncertain future events that are not wholly or fully under company's control. Alternatively, it is also a present obligation that arises from past events, but outflow of economic benefits is just possible, so less than 50% probable, or the amount cannot is that arises from past events, but outflow of economic benefits is just possible, so less than 50% probable, or the amount cannot be measured reliably. While a contingent asset is something similar, it is a possible asset that arises from past events and whose existence will be confirmed later by occurrence or non-occurrence of some future events out of entity's control. For example, when you are suing somebody else and expect winning the court case with some compensation from other party. In such a case, result of court proceedings is out of your control and this possible compensation would represent contingent asset. Neither contingent liabilities nor contingent assets shall be recognized in financial statements. That means no accounting, okay? But you must disclose their existence, their nature, estimation of financial effects.
Oh, finished. So let's proceed with what is this? What was my other task again? Oh yeah, PFRS 15. So PFRS 15. Oh boy. Is this gonna be a long?
Hi guys, another discussion for accounting for special transaction. This is PFRS 15, revenue recognition contracts with customers. So, ang discuss natin is the 5-step process and other issues regarding PFRS 15 is a new standard. So, hindi nyo siya makikita sa books na 2013, 2014, okay, ng advanced accounting. So, bago lang siya. So you be careful in using old books. Okay, kasi iba yung application before, yung naabutan ko. And compared to ngayon, the accounting method dictated by PFRS 15 for contracts with customers. Okay, the revenue recognition. So, ito na yung gagamitin. Okay, so bago siyang standard. Okay, hindi naman talaga bago. Okay, so you see na. Gusto nyo lumabas. Okay, so let's start. So we have the 5-step model framework, also acronym as COPAR. Okay, so we have identifying contracts with the customer, we have identifying performance obligation, we have determine transaction price, allocate transaction price, and recognize revenue when or as the entity satisfy performance obligation. So this 5-step model framework, you have to consider this when you are accounting for contracts. Kailan ba dapat i-recognize yung revenue? Dapat bang
is the same with our teacher. Copar. Transaction price. Identify. Oh, it's the same with the teacher.
Accounting method.
Oh my. Oh my. This is gonna be a long one. Walang choice, no choice. English. Yeah, they're trying hard. So I guess I'll mix in Bisaya and English. If I guess that would work well. I could just experiment anyway, so bahala na. Yeah. And some
Dictated by PFRS 15 for
speaking.
contracts with customers. Okay, the revenue recognition. So, ito na yung gagamitin. Okay, so bago siyang standard. Okay, hindi naman talaga bago. Okay, so you see my gusto niyo na mabasa. Anyway, so, okay, so let's start. So we have the 5-step model framework, also
The 5-step model framework. Copar. Number 1, identifying contracts. With the customer. Second is identifying performance obligation. Determine transaction. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Misclick. Mispressed guy. Pressed Control P. Control U. Price. Oops, not Control A. Allocate transaction. Excuse me. And recognition. I know. Recognize revenue. Oops. No. Revenue. When or as the entity satisfies performance obligation.
acronym as COPAR, time performance of a 5-step time or at a certain point in time. Okay, so yan. So let's start with the first step. Okay, we have identifying the contracts with the customer. Okay, so
let's
So, ano ba yung conditions na kailangan ma-satisfy niya? Okay, so we have dapat approved contract by parties. Okay, then we have the right of it.
Conditions. Parties. Terms of
Each party in goods or services or G/S can be identified. So, kailangan specified yung rights. Then we have terms of payment in goods or services can be identified. So, nakalagay kung paano babayaran. Then we have contract has commercial substance. So, paano ba i-identify yung commercial substance as we go along, discussing construction contracts, franchise, and a lot more regarding PFRS 15, kailan ba nagiging commercial substance siya? Okay? Then we have probable collection of the consideration to which entity is entitled to exchange of goods or services. So there's a note here, if not all the conditions are met, of the consideration to which entity is entitled to exchange of goods or services.
What?
So the entity is entitled to exchange of goods or services. So there's a note here, if not all the conditions are met, so you have to reassess the contract.
Straighten my back.
Okay? So, if reassessing is done, maaaring pumatak siya sa overtime or at a certain point in time, or you have to clarify certain conditions para ano ba talaga to? Is this vague? Is it kailangan lang specify yung parties kung ano ba, nakalimutan lang ba nila? If all of the conditions are met, ang under siya ng scope of PFRS 15. So you have to apply PFRS 15 as revenue recognition, okay, contracts with customers. Okay, so we have step 2, identifying performance obligation. Or the PO. Okay, so if all of the conditions are identifying performance, all of the conditions are met, under siya ng scope of PFRS 15. So you have to apply PFRS 15, that's revenue recognition, okay, contracts with customers. Okay, so we have step 2, identifying performance obligations or the PO. Okay, so we have goods and services that are distinct. They are actually separate performance. So the
Oh no, naglag. Oh, good. Save, just save. Okay. Goods and services. Distinct.
customer can benefit from the goods or services on its own. The entities promise to transfer goods or services can
Um,
be separately identified from other promises to the customer. So they dito, separate yung performance. Kung mag-connect on its own, it can send on its own. Then, confine good of PFRS 50 customers, PO. Okay, so we have goods and services that are distinct. They are actually separate performance. So the customer can benefit from the goods or services on its own. The entities promise to transfer goods or services can be separately identified from other promises to the customer. So dito, separate yung performance. Kumbaga, pwedeng yung isa lang, okay, then afterwards, hindi connected yung delivery ng isa doon sa isa. Okay? Okay, go separate performance on its own. It can send on its own, okay? The other one is a series of distinct goods or services that is transferred to the customer in the same pattern of transfer to a customer. So this is a single performance. So each distinct good or services in series is consecutively transferred to a customer would be a performance obligation satisfied over time. So ibig sabihin nito is consecutively, kumbaga there is sunod-sunod. Okay? Na i-transfer yung customer. So each of that is considered a performance obligation over time. Okay? A single method of measuring progress would be used towards complete satisfaction of a performance obligation to transfer each distinct goods and services to the series to the customer. So, ang ano dito, separate performance, it can stand on its own. Yung isa, yung single performance is actually isang buo pero utay-utay. Okay? So, ganon. Yeah, pero utay-utay. Okay? So, this is actually isang buo pero utay-utay. Isa yung series to the customer. So, ang ano dito, separate performance, it can stand on its own. Yung isa, yung single performance is actually isang buo pero utay.
A series of distinct goods or services that is transferred to the customer in the same pattern of transfer to the customer. Each distinct good or service in series is consecutively transferred. Each distinct good or service in series is consecutively, meaning it's consecutively transferred to a customer be a performance obligation satisfied over time. Okay, I understand. A single method of measuring progress be used towards complete satisfaction of. Okay.
Utay-utay. Okay? So, ganon. Okay, next, step 3. Determine the transaction price.
Oh, for step 3 already.
Okay, so presyo na. So, consider past customary business practices. So, kailangan you have to dig deep, diba? You have to do background check on your client.
KDC. Oh no, oh no, 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 no. and dryer.
Client, when you're doing CFRS 15, if paano ba yung business practices nila regarding the transaction price. Kasi baka meron silang trend, meron silang nakasanayan na accounting estimate na ginagamit nila, okay, which is according also to the standard. So, pag may trend na, alam mo na kung paano i-determine transaction price, okay? So, pwede siyang an estimate of any variable consideration, okay, using either probability weighted expected value and then the most likely amount. Okay, so better predicts anticipate. So yeah, we have also the effect of the time value of money if there are financing components in the contract. So alam niyo naman to, okay, with your intermediate accounting, if there is financing components that are affected by the time value of money, then present value, future value, okay. Then we have the fair value of any non-cash consideration. So as we go along the way and we apply the 5-step process, so doon natin makikita yung how do we do the probability weighted expected value, how do we do the most likely value. So, familiar na naman kayo in using time value of money and then the fair value of any non-cash consideration. Okay, so for the variable consideration, we distinctively differentiate the two. The expected value approach, this considered as sum of probability using time value of money and then the fair value of any non-cash consideration. Okay, so for the variable consideration, we distinctively differentiate the two. The weighted value approach. This considers the sum of probability of weighted amounts. So familiar with the weighted amounts, the probability of the weighted amount. So you're using percentages, you're using probabilities in arriving at possible outcomes. And then this is approximate estimate if the entity has a large number of contracts with similar characteristics. Okay. So we have also the most likely amount, only consider a single amount from the range of possible consideration. It is appropriate to use this estimate if the contract has only a few possible outcomes. So yung isa ginagamit kapag large number of contract with similar characteristics. So probabilities ang gamit. The other one is kapag kakaunti lang yung contracts, okay? Estimate if the contract has only a few possible outcomes. So yun nga, if medyo kakaunti lang, yung most likely amount lang. Ano? So discretion is advised in determining which is most likely amount. Okay, so yun. Step 4, we have allocate the transaction price to the performance obligation. So ito yung pagbabago sa
So well, I'm just straight up copy pasting. Oops, I'm low that. Okay. Okay. Right. Oh, my phone is burning. Is this fine to continue this though? Well, maybe I should end it here, but after my phone cools down, then I'll record again. So yeah.